So I thought, like all Christmases, it begins with a story. And so picture this. It's 2 days before Christmas. It's in the early 1950s. It's in a small town, USA. And a circus was in town to do that one thing it did in that town every 10 years. Picture that in your mind. When I was a teenager, just before Christmas, my father and I were standing in line to buy tickets for the circus. Finally, there was only one family between us and the ticket counter. This family made a big impression on me. There were 8 children, all probably under the age of 12. You can tell they didn't have a lot of money. Their clothes were not expensive, but they were clean. The children were well behaved, all of them standing in line 2 by 2, behind their mom and their dad, holding their hands. They were excitedly jabbering about the clowns, the elephants, and the other acts that they would see that day. One could sense they had never been to the circus before. It promised to be the highlight of their lives. The father and mother were at the head of the pack, standing proud as parents could be. The mother was holding her husband's hand, thinking, "Oh my God, you are my knight in shining white armor." And the father, he was standing there, looking at her and saying, "You got that right." The ticket lady asked the father, how many tickets did he want? He said, and he proudly responded, "Please, let me buy 8 tickets for my children and 2 adult tickets for me." The lady quickly quoted the price. The man's wife let go of his hand. Her head dropped. The man's lips began to quiver. The father leaned a little closer and asked, "How much did you say?" She repeated the price again. The man didn't have enough money. How was he supposed to tell his children, his 8 kids, that he didn't have enough money to take them to the circus? Seeing what was going on, my dad reached into his pocket. He pulled out a $20 bill, and he dropped it to the ground. We were not a wealthy family in any sense of it. My father reached down to the ground. He pulled up the bill and tapped the man on the shoulder, and he said, "Excuse me, sir, but I think you dropped this." The man knew what was going on. He wasn't begging for a handout, and he certainly appreciated the help. His heart was breaking. It was such an embarrassing situation. He looked straight into my dad's eyes, took my dad's hands in his, with his lips quivering, straining. He said, "Thank you, sir. You don't know what this means to me and my family." My father and I went back to our car and drove home. We did not go to the circus that day, but we went home full. Is there anything better to describe what the holiday means? What do you feel? What's going on inside? Remember, it's not the external that means anything to us. The external leaves us in seconds. It's not relevant to us. It's the internal that means everything. What I have clearly come to understand that what's important is for us to re-engage and tap back into our feelings. I think we become numb. We've allowed the pressures of daily life, being in our careers, being in a capitalistic society that's heavily steeped in materialism. I don't know about you, but Jean and I have the greatest arrangement in the world in that we no longer exchange gifts. Do you know what a blessing that is? We don't have to ever go out and worry what we're going to buy each other. We're adults. Santa Claus doesn't need to take care of us. Santa Claus takes care of children. But the adults, Gene and I looked, and we looked at our love languages, and our love languages were very similar. Do you know what the last love language was for both of us? It was gifts. Well, if gifts is the last way we feel appreciated, why would we buy gifts for each other? Why would we put the stress on ourselves to go out and shop and shop and shop? How many people here are sick of shopping? Well, Mary's not. Mary loves to shop. She has special shopping clothes. I was thinking this morning, and I was thinking back to when my mother and father were alive. And I was thinking back to 2001 when we went to visit them in Maui. And my mother had a very traditional breakfast. It was a Polish breakfast. It was scrambled eggs, fresh kielbasa, pierogies, sauerkraut, grilled onions, a special type of Polish bread that she made. And she put it out there. And she said, Lee, there's only 2 things that you can eat because I became a vegan. But you know, it wasn't the food. It's what the food represented. So every year that we would be with my mother, she would put out the same breakfast, and I would look forward to it even though I didn't eat it. Why? Because it was the feeling I was tapped into. What did it mean to sit around as a family and share a tradition of breaking bread, of eating together in harmony and in gratitude? I think what we've forgotten, that we get so wrapped up in this holiday, we get so wrapped up in the little minutia things that we forget to love each other. What's really become clear for me lately is that our time on this planet is precious. It's short, and we forget it, and we take each other for granted. And I think what we need to start doing is we need to appreciate everybody, to appreciate ourselves and be fully present with them. You know, I've been married like a decade. No, wait, almost 5 decades. And you know, I now appreciate my wife so much more than I did when I married her. I appreciate her because of how easy it is to be with her. And people say, well, relationships aren't supposed to be easy. And I look at them and say, well, maybe in your life. But in my life, I've set an intention that relationships can be easy. Relationships can be supportive. Every relationship can be supportive. Not just with your life partner, but with every human being you come in contact with. You should be able to find love. And so I'm going to share with you, this is the most brilliant thing I came up with this week, and it's not that brilliant. I'm going to ask you this question. Put yourself in the center of a target. You know what the targets with the bullseyes, with the circles going around it? Put yourself in the center of that target. And then, in that little circle around it, put the 5 people that you hang around with that are the most important people in your life. In that next circle, put 10 people around that. Who are the next 10 people? And then a bigger circle. And then you keep building circles until everyone's in your life. The question I'm going to ask you is, the people that are closest to you, are they loving you? Are they supporting you? Are they thinking about your greatness? Or are they people that are keeping you down? Is there complaining going on all the time? Is it a bitching and moaning session? If you are allowing your inner circle to be surrounded by people who are not lifting you, you will not be lifted. So what the key to the idea of the circle that I'm talking about is that you give time to the people closest to you, because those are the people who are supporting you, they're your lifeblood. And then you modify the time around it. And people are going to come in that are not in your circle, and they're going to want your time. You be selective of where you give your time, because it's all you've got. It's all you've got. And so you want to make sure that you're uplifting yourself, your life. Let's really get to it. What's your purpose in life? I'm going to make it so simple, because we're all been looking for our purpose in life. Everyone's got to find that purpose. I'm going to tell you what it is very quickly. You have to find out how you can be so fully present in your joy, being you authentically, that you feel and experience life to the very fullest. I don't care what you do. It doesn't matter what you do. Are you feeling life to the very fullest? Are you engaged in life? Are you expanding in life? If you're not expanding, you are dying. Christmas is a time of awakening back to the light within. It's awakening back to that consciousness where we came out perfect. So I was talking to God. I said, God, I need some help. I want to touch people differently. And God said, well, hell. You know, God said hell. Oops. Slip. Anyway, God said, hell, I'll write you a letter. And so lo and behold, this week, this letter came. I thought I'd share it with you. God said, dear humans, you've got it all wrong. You didn't come here to master unconditional love. This is where you came from and where you will return. You came here to learn personal love, universal love, sweaty love, crazy love, broken love, whole love, infused with divinity. Live through the grace of stumbling, demonstrated through the beauty of messing up often. You didn't come here to be perfect. You already are. You came here to be gorgeously human, flawed and fabulous, and rising again into remembering, not unconditional love, but you were here to experience. Stop telling the story that you're not perfect. Love and truth doesn't need any adjectives. It doesn't require any modifiers. It doesn't require the condition of perfection. It only asks you to show up, do your best, that you stay present and fully focused, and to feel every moment. That you shine and fly and laugh and cry and hurt and heal and fall and get back up and play and work and live and die as you. It's enough. It's plenty. Signed, God. So the question I ask you is this. Are you reaching for something that's impossible to reach for? Have you not embraced the perfection of your humanity that you are right now? That we're here to learn. And really, what we're learning, what we're understanding more and more is the only way we learn is to experience life. It's not to study life. We're here to make mistakes and then to bounce back from the mistakes. We're here to express and to experience. And we're here to be surrounded by other people who have the same type of flaws as we are, and we accept them as they are because they're perfect too. This Christmas, my wish for you is that you look in the mirror for the very, very, very first time and you see every aspect of yourself with such clarity that you can finally, for the very first time in your life, say, I accept me just as I am. When you embrace that, you will be on a path to love that has never been achieved by anyone else until you do it. And remember this, the only thing that matters is that you do it. You cannot fix another. You cannot fix another, but you certainly can make yourself whole. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6700. 6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.